And now let's get to our very own talk show. So, who better than our student ambassador can tell you about their experience here at the University of Bologna and give you their tips. So, let's welcome the 5 student ambassadors. Alamin, please come here. Alamin from Nigeria. Thank you. Saba from Iran. Audrey from the Philippines, Adriana from Brazil, and Idil from Turkey. And Julia, my colleague, who is helping me with this talk show for the question we are going to ask these guys here. They are the protagonists, so we stay here, down here. So they all study in different campuses, if I remember it well, and only Saba is studying here in Bologna. Am I right, Saba? Yes. So I will start from you, if you don't mind. Could you tell us your first, it works, okay. Your first impression when you arrived here at the University of Bologna?
Okay, my very first impression comes to when I wanted to apply, and it feels very cool to study in the oldest university in the Western world. Also, I study environmental engineering, and I saw that the University of Bologna is number 6 in impact ranking, which is a ranking related to how university measures to sustainable development. And it feels very purposeful to study my major in such university that cares about the future of planet. But besides that, we know that 2020 was a very uncertain time for all of us, and but university managed it perfectly, because I couldn't get a visa for the first semester, but everything was managed perfectly via Microsoft Teams, and I contributed to the classes. It was beyond my imagination. I really impressed from the way that managed these uncertain times.
So, but how did you feel? One word.
I felt very belonged to university, especially in this uncertain world.
Thank you.
Nice answer, thank you. And I would like also to ask to Audrey, if you remember really the first person you met at Unibo and your first friend you make when you arrived here.
So I remember clearly who was the first person I met when I arrived at Unibo. It was my landlady, who was affiliated with the housing partner of the university. So it left a very positive impression on me as someone as kind as from the university to pick me up from the station, because I took the train from the airport to my city in Cesena, where I studied my degree. And so my landlady brought me to the student residence, where I made my first friend. She was actually my roommate, and she was an international Erasmus exchange student from France. So until now, we still keep in touch through social media, and generally, I had a great first impression too of Unibo.
That's fantastic. So I have a question now for Idil. Do you remember the first class you attended and how it was, the professor and the atmosphere?
Hi everyone. I remember my first lesson. I study eye contact. It's an abbreviation for International Cooperation and Human Rights. So my first lesson was with Professor Annalisa Furia. Amazing professor, like such a strong and empowering, impressive professor for me. And the lesson was about like migrants, human rights, and development. It was very exciting and interesting, but also like I met my classmates during the lesson, and it was very impressive to realize that I'm in a room with brilliant people, and they are all very international, coming from very different places of the world, so it was really exciting.
Thank you. And what about you, Alamin? You are the only guys on the stage today. Can you remember me, where do you study, in which campus?
I study in Ravenna,
In
offshore
Ravenna.
engineering.
Okay. So,
I remember my first lesson clearly because it was in a hall, like, so I thought it was like a house or something, but it was like a hall that's dedicated to a different department. And I remember it was almost raining, but it was easy for me to find the place. And I have to confess, I was a bit distracted because right at the top of the room, there was this like really nice art, but it was a nice experience. And my professor is actually supposed to be maybe my project supervisor very soon because she was pretty nice, and my mates too. It was a smooth experience, to summarize.
Okay, but now let's talk about really important things. So, how was the first meal here in Italy, or the first aperitivo? So I can ask it to Saba.
Well, I think in Bologna, my first meal was tortellini al rugo, but in general, once I went to a house of my friend, and his mom was a great cook, by the way, and we ate I think some riso patate e cozze, which was a meal for Puglia, and also parmigiana, which I really liked, all of them, because we know Italian people are very hospitable and friendly.
But also Adriana maybe wants to say to us the first aperitivo or the first meal she has here in Bologna.
Definitely my first meal was pizza because I arrived here like quite late, and because I live in Rimini, and from Bologna to Rimini I took a shuttle bus and I arrived really late. Then my first meal was definitely pizza.
Nice, thank you.
But which is your favorite Bolognese food, if you tried it?
I have to say that piada has it has a space in my heart. Piada and also tagliatelle alla bolognese.
Piada, which is the other part of the region.
Yeah.
You know, our region is
Romagna.
called Emilia Romagna.
Romagna.
So half region is Emilia, the other part is Romagna, and piadina is something typical in Romagna. It's a sort of bread. Now I switch topic, and I have some question about study and services. Can you tell me the place where you study? Do you study in a library, at in your house, in your apartment, in a study room, in the city? This is a question for Audrey.
So for me, ever since my first year at Unibo, I loved studying at the university study room. So in Cesena, there were two study rooms called Alpha and Beta, and my favorite study room was the Beta study room because it was just right outside the building where I had my lessons. So right after class, sometimes I would just go there to continue my work, my assignments, and the ambience was perfect because all the students, no matter how many people, respected your privacy and presence. So you're able to concentrate well, and much more, it's very convenient. Like there are sockets to charge your devices. There's Alma Wi-Fi. So I loved studying in the university study room.
Is there some of you who is studying at the library? You, which library?
Corradini in Ravenna. If you're from Ravenna, or if you have to go to Ravenna, Corradini is like the best.
No.
I think so. Also for networking, like you get to meet. But if you want to really study without all the distraction, there may be a study room. All the different faculties have different study rooms. But the good thing with Corradini is sometimes they close by midnight, so you can stay late till you want to go home. But also, if you just want to study briefly and still make some friends whilst you have coffee, Corradini for me.
Can I add something? I love Corradini. It's so comfortable. It's amazing, and as you said, like it's open until midnight. That's amazing. But in Ravenna, there are many other beautiful historical libraries that I really feel like so, I don't know, precious when I'm studying there, because like they renovated the historical buildings, and you can still like see the paintings on the walls of the study rooms in the library. So I think that's also a unique experience here.
I have to tell you that, of course, also in Bologna there are many libraries. There is one which is the historical library in Via Zamboni 33, which is also the venue of the rectorate. This is beautiful in the ancient part, which is at the first floor, and you can visit it, and then very new on the ground floor. So for those who are studying here, this is a tip from my side.
So now I have a question for Idil. You were here during the COVID emergency. So we know that all Unibo's teaching activity were fully online 2 weeks from the COVID outbreak. So I would like to know, did you attend online classes and how it was? Oh, we know that was a difficult moment.
Thank you for asking me this. Actually, I was really impressed by how Unibo University developed and implemented new measures like super quickly within 2 weeks. So at the beginning there was like a 1 week of holidays like they put because we didn't know what was happening in the world and we were just trying to understand the whole situation. But within 2 weeks, everything, literally everything was online. And I was here at the beginning, and then I managed to go back to where my family lives. And in there, like in Turkey, I kept attending all my courses, like perfectly. And what other thing was really impressive was that all the professors implemented this new methods for how to say, I don't know, for the grading the exams or like the examination method itself, and like many group works they added online. So they kind of helped us to stay in contact with other classmates, other students by having this group works, and I don't know, they really made our lives easier. So I was so emotional and so happy because I was in my home country and still was able to, join the courses. So I felt like Bologna University really cared about its students and I felt like a part of it,
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
we hope to have in-person lessons starting from now and never stop again. But sorry, Saba, I interrupt you. Would you like
No,
something?
I agree, completely agree. Yeah, it felt very, very good to stay in your home because of visa situation and still participating in all classes. Yeah.
Okay, so now I want to ask you something about experience inside the university. The university offers paid tutoring activity or experience for Italian international students. Are there some of you who had this kind of experience? Can you tell us something? Idil and Audrey, and also Lami.
So in 2020, in the first semester, Unibo implemented blended learning, and because of that, they had calls for mixed teaching tutors. So I applied for the call, and I was hired by the university to be a tutor. So what I did was I helped both professors and students manage the blended learning. One, in presence or in classroom, we had to ensure social distancing, but also for the students who were following the classes remotely. So we used Microsoft Teams, and if there were any technical issues, we were the tutors assigned to help both professors and students. So it was quite a positive experience for me, not only because I was able to contribute to the university's efforts in countering COVID, yet still having a conducive learning environment, but I was also able to expand my network and make new friends through my fellow co-tutors. I'm not sure if you have anything to add with your tutoring experience.
I couldn't put it better myself, but I also did another tutoring apart from the one that you were mentioning. So I call it COVID police. So I was basically a COVID police in front of the faculty. I was sitting there and checking if everybody was wearing their masks and if they were using the QR codes to enter in the faculties. Yeah, it was a great opportunity.
Yes, I did the same thing as well, like 150, and I really advise like students to check for these calls because it's pretty easy. You do sometimes in the library where you can do some work for which you would be paid, of course, and also you get to study. It's very flexible. You find the calls on your student portal for the different possible jobs that you can do with the university.
Okay, so thank you. And so our Unibo organized a lot of things. And Unibo organized also a lot of initiative and also cultural events. And I would like to know if someone of you take part in some of this activity, and if yes, which one and how it was, if you like it. So, let me, yeah.
Yes, last year I was just like the Alma Fest as well. There was the football competition in Bologna. So I played there. It's like they have two teams, totally made of like international students, and I played on one of the teams. Actually, I think the picture is also on Instagram as well. And I tried to play this year, but of course I can't be in two places at the same time, so I have to be here. So I think it's always nice. There's all these initiatives by the university. It's open to all, and if you apply, it's a very good opportunity to meet people and play a major role, you know, for the university.
Thank you.
So let's switch into the topic living and free time. The first hot question is about accommodation. So I would like to know, where do you live? If in student residence, for example, or private house, if you are living in a shared room or you have a single room, and how did you get it? Very quickly, I would like a feedback from all of you.
I was lucky to come with two of my friends beforehand, and we took the entire place from online website, which was for student Uniplaces. I recommend to students to plan it earlier because Bologna is a student city, and all the houses are very occupied, usually very early, so you should plan it early. I was lucky in that case to have my roommates beforehand and plan it early.
Yes, just a comment on that. We give you some help if you are still looking for accommodation. Go on the website. There's a service called SAIS. You know that in Italian we do not spell the word, so S-A-I-S, SAIS, which help international students looking for accommodation. Then there are also other websites that you can use. You should look for them on the university website. Sorry, Adriana.
Well, for me, I live in a shared house with 3 more people, like we're in 4, all international students, which is really great because, for example, I live with an Italian friend of mine, so he learned Portuguese from me, and I learned Italian a little bit from him, so it's quite nice exchange. And I found this house throughout Facebook, actually, because we have some groups. In Rimini, specifically, we have the Affitti Studenti Rimini. Also, I got this information from the university itself, because when I enrolled to fashion studies, they sent a lot of documents, including the websites where you can find all the places, which I'm really grateful.
Currently, I live with 3 other students. We are all international students, but there was an Italian student who left us, and I found a house from a friend of a friend. So generally, I would also just like to add this. One of the easiest ways to find accommodation is from your classmates. I mean, it's what you talk about sometimes during breaks. You say, oh, where do you live now? Of course, you share your basic situation in the university. So I just told a friend that I was looking for a cheaper place. And sometimes, of course, it gets easier. When you start, you pay maybe quite expensive because you're desperate. And then maybe you have like a senior student who has to leave for Erasmus, or the person is graduating, internship, and you can then take that person's room. To me, this is like the easiest way. You take a room that someone is already living, and you easily find other students. So, I mean, this is my suggestion. From your group chats and stuff, talk to your friends about your current situation. They know someone else who's living in a house. You can get somewhere cheaper and continue to move till you're in a comfortable place, basically.
What about you, Idil?
I totally agree with you. I lived in 2 different houses so far, and I'm living on my second house now. The first one, I found it during the summer, before I moved into Italy, on Facebook. And it worked perfectly, and then I needed to change my house because everybody was leaving, blah blah blah, and I found my second house through my classmates. So I would suggest the same thing. So talk to your friends and try to get involved with seniors. So probably they will be graduating soon, so they can leave their houses to you. And if you're not so lucky to find a house during summer, all those graduation periods, I recommend you to check, because definitely some people would be moving out during the graduation periods.
Audrey?
And as for me, the last advice I can give you is you can try contacting the housing partners or the student residences of the university. That's where I lived in my first 2 years here in Bologna. First was in a dormitory-like building with all international students. So it's a great opportunity to socialize, especially since you're in a new environment. And in my second accommodation, I stayed in a monolocale or a studio room. So it was more private, yet there were still opportunities to socialize because I was just in the vicinity of other student residences. So that.
Thank you. Can I ask you, raise your hand if you already have an accommodation. Very good.
Not everyone.
Not
anyways.
everyone,
Not
but
everyone. Okay, so about relationship with other students, I would like to ask maybe Adriana, how was the relationship with Italian students? Like if you had more international friends or if you had more Italian friends and if the integration was easy or not?
Well, because I studied in an international master degree, like I studied actually, of course there were people all over the world, but for more or less 20 to 25% were Italians. And I remember vividly my supervisor actually and my professor, dear professor Luca Fabri, he told us during a lecture to all students, because you could see in the beginning that there was like, for example, some Chinese students together or Italian students together, and they told us, and it's really important and opened up my mind, like, guys, you're international students, you're in an international course, you should socialize, you should learn from each other, you are in another place, like, you can learn, so try to speak with each other, try to interact, even though, like, right now with COVID it's more difficult, but try to do it because you'll never regret it. And so I took my chance, and I got, like, in the beginning, a lot of international students, but because of COVID, they came back to their home countries, unfortunately, and I became closer to my Italian friends. Right now, I can tell you that I learned a lot from them, not only about how to live in Italy, but more, for example, about Italian language, about their likes and dislikes, and I made a really close friends. And this is my advice for all of you that they're taking international course. Like, try to talk to them because maybe they are just shy as you are. So don't regret it later, you know. So try to be friends, because if you're friendly, they will be friendly with you, and you can learn a lot.
Thank you. Yes, and also learning Italian, even if you are attending an international degree program, it's a very good advice I would like to give to you, because through Italian language you can also understand better our culture, and that's an occasion to have new friends too. Last question, again very quickly. Tell us about something regarding the University of Bologna that left a mark on you. Audrey.
So for me, what left a mark from the University of Bologna is its integration of cultures. Like, you can witness it yourself, how rooted University of Bologna is in its Italian culture. And I appreciated that because I got to know more of Italy, it's the country, the people, the culture. But much more, I was amazed how international University of Bologna is. From its lessons, its guest speakers, its professors. It has international standards, so the fact that it can still be an Italian institution, yet reach and expand so far worldwide, that amazed me, and I want to carry that always, especially in my next chapter.
Thank you. Idil.
So nice. I actually have two things. The first one is, as I just explained, the COVID response. It was insanely good. I felt really safe, and I felt like my institution is really caring about me. And the second one is a bit silly, but there was a prom night in Ravenna in winter, so it was like a winter ball, and I never been in a ball before, so it definitely left a mark on me. It was so much fun.
Alamin.
I think one of the most impressive things I have found about Unibo, like Idil said, was the fact that everything, they seem to care about what next. And as a person who sometimes maybe I feel lazy to check the mails, there's always some update for you. Like, please just try to always check, follow the website, or even though you don't check frequently, like I said, when you make friends from your class groups, you can find very, very up-to-date things about the university, like the calls, the deadlines. They remind you when it's time for a deadline. I feel impressed about that. Like, that's the most impressive thing. The organization, it's top class.
Thank you. Adriana.
Well, I have two dearest memories. Let's just say the first one is how kind and devoted the professors are here at Unibo. Because if you think about how difficult it was COVID for us that had to stay at home, imagine for them that had to really think about how the way they are teaching all the classes and make it throughout online, and you don't have any more like students in front of you to teach, so you have just to teach to a computer. You don't see anything. So it was really hard, but they were so kind, so devoted, and this really impressed me. And personally speaking, my second one is when I graduated in Rimini, and I won the crown, like, because it's a typical thing here, the crown of Aloro, and it was really, really like a memorable, unforgettable memory for me, because it was like the end of my master and end of a cycle, and it was like just like all my friends together, and it was really like one of my best memories ever.
Saba?
One of the reasons that Unibo is very special for me is that in my degree we study a lot about circular economy, which I couldn't find before, like a lot of master degrees that care about circular economy, but Unibo does, and I really appreciate it. But a part of that, I really appreciate Unibo because it provided us Middle Eastern students, or let's say developing students from developing countries, an opportunity through Ergo scholarships that we can apply to like a European university and experience this kind of education, which is very different from what we received. It's a great opportunity for us. It makes me see my future in a better light, let's say, rather than if I would stay at my own country. And it has changed a lot of students' lives, not only me, but a lot of students. I would really thank about it. It changed my life.
Thank you, Saba. Thank you all. Our student open mic is coming to the end. So thank you again. Please say thank you to all of them. You are great, guys. So apart from Alamin, all the other can go back to your seats. Because now we have the final part of our welcome, which is the podcast competition. We prepared a podcast which is called Unibo Global Life Bites, and almost all the episodes are online. You can find them on Spotify, for example. We still have one episode to publish, and we ask you as challenge to leave us an audio message describing your experience at the University of Bologna. And Alamin sent a message, and he's one of the 3 finalists. I'm also inviting Emma joining us here on the stage. The third finalist is Isabella, but she wrote us, she couldn't be here today. Julia.
So we have some amazing prize for the winner of this competition, and one prize is the guide that he's already in the hand. Can you show to this amazing public?
Yeah.
This one is one of the prize, and is the only tourist guide about National Geographic that shows the city through the eyes of history of Unibo. Then you have also an amazing, a really beautiful rucksack of University of Bologna. But not only, because you also receive a special card with, you can get inside all cultural places. Wait.
But we still haven't revealed who is third place, second, and first. So you don't know to whom you should give this present.
So I'm just presenting you the amazing prize that you could win in this moment. And this card, actually, it allowed you to get inside, the eventually winner, allowed you to get inside all the cultural events and museum and cinema, and so in Bologna. Yeah, but also in Bologna.
No, this is the one of Bologna.
This
So
is the one of
I
Bologna.
please switch off the lights. We will listen to the third contribution audio message we received, so third on a podium.
Unibo for me is a lot of things, but I am glad it has been exactly what I had hoped for it to be, which is an opportunity for me to experience an international environment. Number 2, top world-class education. And number 3, during school and postgraduate career opportunities. So for these things, I would say Unibo has been everything I wanted it to be. Grazie mille, Unibo.
This was yours, Alamin. So third position for Alamin. Thank you. Then let's see who is on the second position.
The feeling of living on your own for the very first time. The feeling you feel when you're in a room full of people that you don't know, but you're sure belong there as much as you do. That's something you feel inside of your heart when a professor is talking about something you love so much you're not able to put into words. The certainty that you'll be able to go beyond your limits and finally live as fully as you would like to. To me, Unibo is this.
I don't think it's yours, Emma, so that means you are the first one. This was the Isabella message. Emma, we can listen to the winner message.
The University of Bologna might be known as the oldest one in Europe, but let me tell you, it's way more than just an institution. Unibo is a wide window to the world, a springboard for your career, and a big family of like-minded people. It's like jumping on a colorful merry-go-round that overwhelms you with infinite possibilities and new scenarios. Unibo is the meeting point of history, passion, dedication, and commitment.
Thank you, Emma. So
you are the winner of the beautiful rucksack and also of the card and the guide.
Yes.
We don't have the second one, is missing, but we have the card for the third one.
Almin, I know you are not living in Bologna, but that means you have to come here every week to visit a museum or an exhibition. I hope you like the prizes. We really thank you. The real prize, I think, is that you will be part of this episode, and that means you are part of our community, and we thank you a lot. So, thank you.